sister, about looking within for your healing and calling on the divine, which for me is a reflection of myself. But as I mentioned before, growing up, my world was very black, very confident, like many of us, a world of black excellence. And so I learned about our trauma kind of invertedly. And so as I grew older, I guess things became more traumatic, and more in remembrance and more in lived experience. But getting in touch with, staying in touch with who I am and what I know to be my destiny as a witness, to be here present during this time, to tie into, as I said before, and all of us here know, our ancestral line and family who are just as vested in our success from the other side, and to heal the trauma I really feel to heal the trauma by embracing it, all of it, all of it, and being so amazed, perennially, eternally for us coming through this experience. I'll tell you, I hope most of you, all of you get a chance, have gone to see the Equal Justice Institute Memorial and Museum. I wasn't prepared, being a scholar and a student of African American literature, Black women's literature, I was not prepared for the viscerality of what I experienced. But as I went into a room with pictures living and passed away, and the music of our people, just a sense of joy, it's just amazing. So that's how I heal continually. It's a continual process. And to know that these are cycles of time, that, as it says in a book we all know of, the meek shall inherit the earth, and when you really kind of come to terms with what that means, there are cycles of time where those of us who have a destiny to correct, to heal, to plant again, to build again, to lead us out of horrors more refined in spirit, that's why we're here.
I say the way that I healed is pretty much change of mindset, change of lifestyle, just completely changing who I was at once because I was a victim of my past. I was everything that the stereotype of a black woman was. So I just pretty much changed up, and that's how I healed within myself. I try to set examples so that people, could I just want to lead by a great example. So that's my way of healing myself, is just change mindset, change of lifestyle.
And then I'll turn it over to the audience for about 5 or 6 questions. What are the great characteristics that you embody, and how did you find them? I'll start with you.
Just the power, we're magical. Just to be able to walk, talk, see, it's power. You can make anything happen with your mind, Just getting in tune with my real powers and my true self.
All right. Come on.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
Sure. What are the great characteristics of yourself, and how did you find them?
Well, my imagination is very vivid. I can entertain myself for hours, always have been able to do that. I love listening to stories, every little detail of a story. I put my friends to sleep telling my story. I fancy myself a storyteller, and I'm determined to give birth to this novel that I've been working on since 2012. So I really kind of tickle myself, and I love to kind of be with myself and imagine things. And I encourage you all to get into sacred play and to let your imagination heal you. Not to fantasize that things didn't exist or didn't happen, but that you are so amazing that you are coming through it even more resilient and brilliant than before. So I tend to think of stories and write of stories and gravitate towards stories and storytellers who talk about transformation, who talk about possibility and creativity.
I think I remember the question. I have an answer. My greatest characteristic would probably be being a warrior. There's a scripture that talks about, and I'll say the great book, that we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against thrones, dominions, warfare, the prince of the darkness. And I found out that my greatest characteristic is when I have to be in the midst of warfare. I'm a warrior. I get told a lot by my family and friends, I can't accept the word no. I have to go into warfare, especially when it's for my family members or for a cause. I fight tooth and nail. I am persistent, I am tenacious, and it's about taking care of those things and those people that are worth dying for. And sometimes people think that death, a physical death, is the worst death. The worst death is living and being dead at the same time. So the things that I'm great at is I will die and sacrifice my life for what I believe in. And that means if I have to give up something, if I have to die to a desire, if I have to die to a position or something that I really believe in, because ultimately when I leave this place, I don't want to have regrets. And I think that's how most of us should live, because physical death is you're gonna go somewhere else after this. If you don't believe that, it's somewhere else. This is the testing ground. This is just class. You have to be willing to die for what you believe in. And it's not the death. It's not the death that you're talking about getting into the casket. It's not the death where we're talking about having a funeral. We're talking about dying to something that you want, dying to a belief, dying for a greater cause, either an individual or something else that you believe in, because that's the sacrifice. When you give up something, you're giving up something, an idea, a mindset, a belief in order to get something greater. But you first have to give that thing up. And that's what warfare is about. That's what it's about. You're killing an old belief, you're killing our own mindset, you're killing something in exchange to get something greater. I know that's maybe a little deep, but that's where I find my greatest characteristics. And I found it more so in the last 5 years taking care of my grandmother.
So you said find it as your service to others, that's how you find your gifts?
Not just a service to others. Dropping out of high school, moving out at an early age, that too. Fighting for what I believe in. Fighting for what I believe in. Service to others and fighting for what I believe in.
All right, give it to him. Give it to him. Such a good audience. I'm sorry.
If you wouldn't mind, there was just something I wanted to mention, because one of our beloved sisters brought this to our attention. I am by no means a Kwanzaa scholar, but I have been aware of it since I was a child and practicing off and on over the years. But there is a beautiful woman named Sister Nakenya Subeko Kuate, who is highly instrumental in founding Kwanzaa. And I would love if our sister Asata Shakur, if you don't mind, because she brought it to our attention, I really want her to speak on this amazing woman who hosted, if I can go ahead and just say this, the first Kwanzaa in her home in the Bay Area in 1967, year I was born.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Habari gani? Habari gani? All right, peace and blessings, family. I'm Zasada, and Queen Susan, thank you so much for inviting me up here. I just wanted to take some time to uplift another one of our warrior queens, who is the mother of Kwanzaa. And if you have your phone, actually, can you hold your phone up in the air? Let me see. Okay, I want you to go to Google, and I want you to start typing this name. Her name is Queen Mother Makinya Sabeku Koute. First name spelled M-A-K-I-N-Y-A. Makinya. And it should really pop up on your phone, Makinya Sabeku Koute. She was the woman who really put these 7 principles together. Karinga had the idea of having a celebration for us African Americans in the U.S. But he took that idea to Queen Mother Sabeko when he heard her speak once at an event. And from then on, that was in 1967. The first Kwanzaa event was in 1966 in West Los Angeles. That first Kwanzaa event did not have the 7 principles. So the 7 principles were not in place at that first Kwanzaa event. But it was an ingathering of our people. It was all of those things. However, we did not have the 7 days, the umoja, like I said, the 7 principles. What Queen Mother did was she went not only in the United States, around to different states and took college students with her from Berkeley. She was from San Francisco. She took college students with her all across the United States to spread Kwanzaa across the U.S. She also went to the motherland, to Africa. And if you go to Africa, there is no Kwanzaa. So if you go to Africa, don't ask about Kwanzaa, it's not there, okay? What she did was she took they all have the first fruits harvest though. South Africa, West Africa, they all have the first harvest. They do different ceremonies for their first harvest. What she did was took different things from different ceremonies, different tribes all over Africa. She brought all those things together and created the 7 principles. What they mean, the symbols, the Indigenous symbols behind the principles, she didn't create those, but she did choose the certain ones to go with the certain principles. So I just don't want, we all, in Kwanzaa, we have this thing of bad-mouthing Karinga for whatever he may have done. But as with anybody else, just like Bill Cosby, we all know that situation, but I'm not going to act like Cliff Huxtable didn't show me how a black family was supposed to be doing their stuff. So what we have to do is take the good of what somebody does and embody that, dispel the bad. But also we have to give credit where credit is due. I don't want her to be another Queen Mother stepped over, looked over. Not from this point forward, we should be hearing her name in the libation circle as being Queen Mother of Kwanzaa. And she did not do it alone. Like I said, it took the US organization, Karinga, it's a collective. So I don't want to give the credit to any one person, but the fact that she gets none, we don't hear her name spoken at any Kwanzaa events. And I just want people to start researching her on what she did, on how she really took this and ran with it, like really all over the United States, all over the motherland. So again, I want to uplift and continue to uplift, and we can research and not only research her, but other great warrior queens out there. So again, Queen Mother Makinya Sabeko Kaute, we thank you and we lift up your name. Rest in power. Thank you. Makinya Sabeko Kaute.
M-A-K-I-N-Y-A, first name. Sabeko, S-I-B-E-K-O. Kayute, K-O-U-A-T-E.
All right, give it to our sister again. We'll open up the floor for questions to the panel. I know y'all got some great questions for these powerful sisters here, as you all are powerful. Yes, sister.
I do, specifically to Shad. I applaud you.
Can you speak to the microphone if you don't mind? So everybody can hear it.
I'll just stand up. I think I'm good. My specific question is to Shad. I applaud you with your self-determination and pulling yourself up. I've stumbled into this new subculture of young people who have run away, and there are kids. I actually adopted one not knowing what I was getting into. And so I'm dealing with the reality of the trauma of being assaulted by Caucasians, but also the trauma of being assaulted by who he should have trusted, who was African American. So my question to you is, for you to have gotten to the place of running away, clearly one of us had to have assaulted you too. What could we, the older sisters and brothers who are trying so hard to help you all, help you in getting to that place of self-determination faster?
Want to take for that individual to want to do better on their own. I mean, you can try hard. I mean, you can do all you can do and still not get through to them. Life is the best teacher. You know, some things they may have to go through in order to realize and stuff. I mean, that's what, I mean, my mother, she was a great mother, and I mean, I still ran away. So, you know, I just had to go through some things to learn some things on my own to get to a point in life where I'm like, I need to do better.
Hotel.
Hotel.
My name is Kamal Africa. I'm one of the founding members of Birmingham Kwanzaa. The first one was held in Birmingham in 1984. I was the only male. I had a bookstore called Know Thyself. And I apologize for not being here last night. When you get older and you get off a roof sometime, working all day, you know, you just don't have the energy. And I heard it was wonderful. And I'm so happy to see it growing because it's been a long time. And I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow, as in tomorrow, but I'm saying in the future. So I'm happy to see the youth, and I'll bring my grandson tomorrow. Here's my question. There are 1.5 million black men in America that have disappeared. There are 64,000 black women that have disappeared, gone missing. And my question to you sisters is, what do you think we can do here collectively to bond ourselves and strengthen ourselves here economically and culturally? That's what I want to know. What do y'all think?
Anybody like to answer that?
I'll start. To bond ourselves economically and culturally, first of all, we got to start back and it's with our communities. I think we're getting away from home ownership and responsibility. Your point about the lost black males, and were you saying, what did you mean by that part?
I'm saying we're under attack constantly. Either we're being assaulted or we're being killed by police. In every aspect in this country, these folks have been killing us since they brought us in from Africa. And the surge is even stronger. And I would dare say Trump is going to probably win. If Bernie Sanders or Bloomberg don't take him out. But we can't put our dependency on some white man in the White House.
You got to start with each community. Everything you're talking about, it's got to be small base. You're talking about going up to higher up levels. Everything's got to start within each community. Each community has to have some type of community unity. We've got to be more responsible and accountable for ourselves. See, what you're doing, you're talking about Trump and what everybody else did. We got to start with the communities we're in. You're talking about the people are killing, you know, we're killed by, you know, somebody else, but we're killing each other in our own communities. So we can't overlook that. You can't overlook what we're doing to each other because there's no precepts, no principles, no foundation, no synchronicity, no alignment. We got dysfunctional families, so you can't go out and start pointing a finger at a higher level of authority until you take root of what's happening within our own selves. If you want to do something, go within the communities where you have a problem. Go within your community, and I'm sure you're doing something like that. Another thing is with our as far as economically, we've got away from ownership. We don't want Big Mama house. We don't want Big Mama house. We want the apartment down there in 280. We don't want to restore something that already has, you know, heritage and foundation. We don't want to fix the roof because it's old. It don't look like what they live in on TV. That's one of the problems. We live above our means. We don't need to go and compete with other people and get what they got. What we need to do is take care of what's already in our hands. But we're not willing to do that, and no one is really educating and teaching us how to do that. That's why our neighborhoods look the way that they do. That's why things happen in our neighborhoods the way they do. It's because dilapidation.
We don't care for our own neighborhoods and we don't care for our own people, so I'll be damned if some other race and generational people are gonna do the same. We're just doing, we need to take care of our own communities. That's how it's gonna start. You start showing that we respect one another and we love each other, then other people will start giving us the same respect and love. Nobody's gonna love us and respect us if we're not giving it to ourselves. Why should a white man, a higher up authority, come to Birmingham, Alabama and want to do something, we're not doing something ourselves? Why we need to look to our mayor to help us? Why we can't help ourselves? We got the resources, all we need is each other. Why? Can you help us? Why can't we start something in our communities and do that? Why can't we educate ourselves on what to do with these dilapidated houses? Go down here, go downtown and pay some of these taxes on these houses, take back these houses, get a group of these young men in here together and fix them up. Put the nails in the roof, let's fix them up. I mean, that's what we're going to have to do. We can't look to these politicians to do nothing for us. They money hungry. What you looking for them for? Look for the people who really want to do something. Band together, build up your own political group, and let's make something happen. I'll help you. I live in Big Mama house. I'm keeping Big Mama house. I don't want an apartment down on 280. I like where I live. I mean, I'm not trying to compete with the Joneses. I don't have to have it. I'm willing to do what I need to do to pass down something to my child. The Bible says that a wise man leaves a heritage to his children's children. What do we have to lead our children right now? Not just physically and financially. What type of wealth? You have to have something to give your children. You got to teach them something. I'm not trying to teach my daughter, oh, we going to get out of the neighborhood, we going to go down here. No, you going to stay right here. You going to fix this up. You going to take care of this, because when you have your children, they might have a little hard time and keep passing it down. We got to restore our communities. We got to not them. We got to do it. We got to do it. And then we have to educate. Like I said earlier, and I'm gonna shut up. The Hebrew word for prosper is the ability to make the right decisions. Before we get any type of money, we gotta know how to handle the little bit of money we got right now. Because we're rich as a people. We just spend our money in the wrong places.
That was brilliant. I hope this is being recorded.
It is. Just capture
There's
right there.
so many layers in that, and I thoroughly agree. I just want to touch on the work that I do in the community. My beloved neighbor about Africa has taught me and my partner so much about the historic Smithfield community. And I became enthralled not only with Smithfield, but remembering my grandparents in Berkeley and this sort of self-contained Black community. Everything we had was right there, and I became fascinated with the story, fascinated with Sister's story, that we have the natural genius, as Majadi says all the time, to have the visions, to take our visions and create our reality. We're doing it right now with it coming together to celebrate some principles. You metaphysically catalyze things into being, even things that might not manifest for 100 years from now. So we're doing the work because we're showing up and we're being together and we are staying in love with each other. But I think, Clarence, to answer your question, I'm not an economist, but I have learned that economy is to take care of the home. So just like Sister said, we start taking care of our home, starting with our hearth fire, starting with our values that sync us together as a people, and then how can we, despite what it looks like, things are getting amazingly better. We have to know this, and next year is going to be amazing, especially for us. We have to see this. And so when we collectively see it, and we step into it and do the work, it becomes a manifestation. That is our magic. So we have it, we can lament, and there's a lot to lament. I get pissed off, I'm not pleased with the current leadership of our city, despite our support and hopes for better. I have no idea, looks like we are in for trouble, what are we gonna do? We need to start building and putting food in the ground and learning about how to do, because we already know it.